U.S. homelessness is up 18%. And officials are blaming the migrant crisis, devastating natural disasters, and a lack of affordable housing. Rob, I think you got a video on this one here. If you do, if you want to prep it. Is this it?
It is. It's a Fox News report on this.
Okay, go for it. Go for it.
Welcome back. The Department of Housing and Urban Development recording a massive 18% increase in homelessness this past year. Shocking numbers. Its latest report says, which came out today, by the way, at least 770,000 people experienced homelessness. That includes 150,000 children. California, #1 in the country with over 187,000 homeless. HUD says the lack of affordable housing, worsening natural disasters, and the migrant crisis are all making it harder for people to find places to live in.
By the way, the number is U.S. experienced 18.1% increase in homelessness in 2024, brings the total up over 770,000. Rob, can you pull up the homelessness population the last 10 years? According to Department of Housing, the rise was driven by sky-high housing costs, natural disasters like the Maui wildfire, and a surge of migrants, with HUD reporting family homelessness more than doubled in 13 communities impacted by migration, including Denver, Chicago, New York City. Renee Wills of the National Low-Income Housing Coalition called the increase the tragic yet predictable consequences of underinvesting in the resources and protections that help people find and maintain safe, affordable housing. Nearly 150,000 children were homeless on a single night in 2024, reflecting a 33% jump from 2023. Oh my God. Did you hear that? Yep. Let me say that one more time, folks. 150,000 children were homeless on a single night in 2024. That's a 33% increase from last year. This is just children, okay? And it's not going away. Tom, how do you foresee a Trump administration coming in, right? They're solution-oriented. How do you address this issue? Especially when you think about the 773. Rob, can you pull up out of the 770 homeless population, what percentage of that is just the state of California? Okay, if you type in highest homelessness population by state, highest homelessness population by state, let's see what it is, and if it gives us an update. That's as of 2023, so we don't have the 24 numbers yet. But it's okay, let me just read that, Rob.
California will still be number
181. Okay, California, and then 103, New York, 31, Florida, Washington, 28. Can you pull one more down? Let's see who fifth is.
Well,
let me just see this here. Go a little bit lower.
Rob, I'm going to send you some stats real quick.
Go a little. I don't think that's the one, Rob. Go a little lower. The one that. Oh, right there. So Washington, then is Texas, and then per 100,000, New York is 527, Vermont is 509, Oregon 476, California 466. Hawaii 434. Adam.
Did you see the Wall Street Journal breakdown of this? Ooh, wow. Wall Street Journal just came out with an article. I was reading it last night, and it's called The Blue State Homeless Boom. Boom, boom, there goes the room. You know the number one state in terms of increase percentage-wise? Because obviously California has the most
Was it New York?
People. Nope, not New York. You want to guess again?
Hawaii?
Nope. And it's not even close.
I mean, it's not
Illinois.
California. Okay.
Illinois. Here's the breakdown. Increase in homeless population from 2019 to 2024. There you go. Texas, only 8%. Florida, 10%. Illinois, 153%. California, 23%. Not good. New York, 71%. And the U.S. average is 35%.
As much as I get the 153,
yes.
Look at New York by number. New York was number one by increase of actual homeless people. Okay. Illinois, 2.5x what they had in population, but New York went up 66,000. You were just in New York.
I just came back. Yeah.
How was it when you were in New York? Specific to homelessness.
I mean, look, the areas I was hanging out with the homeless people. But yeah, look, we all know what's happening with Eric Adams. We all see what's going on with the subway. I actually filmed a video when I was in New York. And basically, I love New York. I used to go every single summer. It's an amazing city. Obviously, you have your relationship with the Yankees. And while I was there, I filmed a video. I was like, look, I'm here in New York. I'm getting out of a subway. I love New York. It's the best city in the world. Other than the fact that it's the most expensive city to live in the United States, the cost of living, the homelessness, the crime, the freezing cold rain, the Mets, the Jets, the homelessness that I mentioned, the cost of living, the fact that I'm paying $5,000 for a shoebox apartment, the fact that homeless rats, garbage. But other than that, I love New York. So New York has some massive issues. How much tax revenue left New York during COVID? $30 billion, something like that. New York has some major issues. This homelessness situation that was going on. The guys that were beating up cops in New York, Vinny, you covered this, flipping the bird. New York has some major situations. In my opinion, New York was the best city in America. But now the wokeness, the Columbia University, everything that's going on there, gays for Gaza.
How does a Trump administration fix this homelessness problem?
Yeah, coming back to your question, what does Trump do? Well, first of all,
you're hired, they hire you, they give you the job. What do you do?
First of all, you look at what's happening and how do you make it stop and how do you fix it? First of all, immigrants are coming here with no place to live, with no job to get, so that they can't even, in a short order, make a little bit of money to pay for a small place, and it's not the affordable place. So how do you drive the price down in any market? Supply. Increase the supply that's out there or reduce the demand for it. So first of all, and people are going to go all over the comments on this, he's talking about deporting a lot of people. And once you deport people that aren't supposed to be here because they're criminals and they're floating around, you're reducing demand, but you also got to increase the supply. And for the past 3 years, builders have been building, but it's where they're building, what they're building. And you got to put, I believe, you need two things. It's not enough just to say, we need affordable housing in the city of Miami. I agree we do. We need it. It's going to be more west. Okay. But what are those people going to do? Where are the jobs going to be? So you need a partnership with the big cities to attract business to put jobs in the big cities, Pat, that are working class jobs. Then you need places for those people to live. So you have to do, Trump's going to have to get HUD and commerce together. And what I do is I get HUD and commerce together and say, look, the homelessness is tougher in these areas. I need supply of affordable housing. I need to reduce the artificial and bad demand, take the people that are demanding it and get them out of here. Yeah. And then we got to work with industry to bring back American jobs and opportunities so those people have something to do. So it's not a light switch. Now, the Democrats will think, well, just give them money. Give them money to go where and pay rent to who if there's not a supply of housing, right?
Yeah.
All you're going to have is a shortage of you're not going to have shortage. It's going to be spent on vices, and it's a fact. You spend lottery tickets, alcohol, things like this. If you just hand out money, you can't do that. He's got to do two things. The supply of housing, work with that, and then work with the big cities to attract companies with jobs there.
Here's what I want to do.
So some people have something to do and get paid.
I got it, Tom. So what I want to look at, how sometimes, Tom, we would look at 1,000 insurance policies coming in, and you would see some chargebacks, some stay on the book, some get canceled, some they keep. And then we would run a report to see where these chargebacks are coming from. What state, what office, what vice president, and then you would see.
Find the trends.
Okay, so what I want to know is this homelessness increase of 18%, who are they? Are they illegal immigrants? Are they veterans? What's the background? If you go a little low, Rob, this article I just sent you, it shows you all the way at the bottom. So let's kind of read this together. At the top, we saw the number 770. Great. Keep going lower. Keep going lower. You'll see when the numbers actually come up. I'll go up a little bit when you see numbers to see what it says right there. Since then, all of crossings at the border have dropped by more than 60%. HUD is in person. Encounters are at the lowest since July 2020. Yeah. As a result, but for 3.5 years, you let the doors wide open. Yeah. So in Chicago, for example, the migrant shelter census is down more than 60%, and in Denver, it's down 100%. But wait till you see what is up. But according to HUD, found that nearly 1/3 of the 18,800 homeless people in Chicago were children.
Jeez.
Chicago saw a 200% increase in homeless population this year. Asylum-seeking families in Chicago, so that is what? Illegal immigrants.
Yep.
If they use a different word, asylum-seeking. Not asylum families. Asylum-seeking families could be another word as illegal immigrants, including those bused or flown in Chicago from other states, like Texas or Florida, whatever it may be, accounted for most of Chicago's increase in estimated homelessness. A record number of 371,000 illegal aliens were encountered, authority border, December 20, record-breaking. May of 2022 was a previous record. Keep going lower, 1.7 million gotaways. Okay, HUD reported 8% decrease in homelessness amongst veterans, record low. Has helped connect 90,000 veteran households to stable rental homes. HUD, got it. The Department of Veterans Affairs announced that it has permanently housed 47,925 veteran experiencing homelessness in 2024, which is good. Go a little lower to see if there's anything else, or that's it. Yeah. So to me, what I want to know is what's causing it. And then what can we do to help some of them? Like every year for about 7 years, we used to go to Skid Row in downtown LA. Okay, we'd get up at 4:30 in the morning, Christmas morning, December 25th, and about 50 of us, eventually at then it was about 100 of us. We'd go to downtown LA, and we would go give the homeless Bibles, pillows, blankets, toothpaste, whatever you want to call it. And I would talk to these guys. And what was weird about some of them that were there, I said, so what did you do for work before? I was an accountant. No, you weren't. Yeah, I was. How did you end up here? And one story was, man, I couldn't stop drinking. Mm-hmm. Okay, how about yourself? I got a DUI. How about yourself? I got into a lot of debt and I couldn't find a way. So what are you doing now? We're living over here. But some of them were people that if you clean them up, they looked proper. They looked good. Some of them were drugs. Some of them were, felonies and, people that maybe they're not going to get a job. But you have to almost find a way to see which one of them we can get back into the system, right? Tom said a word the other day, what was it when you went to jails? Prisons used to be called what?
Correctional facilities.
Correctional facilities to correct the habits so we can get you to go back into society and become a citizen again, a contributing citizen again. We have to look at which one of them we can help out to get them back to getting a job. There are a lot of companies that hire people that are former felons, former people with criminal background. I remember one guy at the church in Shepherd of the Hills. He had a junkyard. I don't know if you remember this guy or not. He used to always go to the men's retreat. And he had 120 employees. Out of the 120 employees, 75% of them had done time before. And they all worked for him. Former gangsters, they were tatted up. You would see them. They're like, hey, MS-13, 13th Street, 18th Street, TVR, all these guys. But they got jobs. So it was church, and they worked over there. You got to find a way to make them self-sufficient. What percentage of them, Tom, do you think are not, you can rehabilitate them, like correct them? Which percentage of them do you think are like, there's so much into it that good luck doing anything with them?
I haven't seen the stats on that, and words talk, numbers scream, and I don't want to put a number out there but my own estimate, based on reading a lot of articles like this and finding that.
Would you say it's a big number or a small number?
No, I would say it's probably about, my guess would be it's probably about 25%, based on reading things about the number of kids, the number of people that had a addiction like alcohol, or they had things like a DUI, lost the car, couldn't drive, anymore, and things like this. I would say there's probably 20 to 25% of them, just my gut guess, my observation, that are probably going to be really hard pressed to find a job. Today, on the way to work today in Fort Lauderdale at Commercial and Federal Highway, there was a guy that was laying in the street. His legs were in the crosswalk and his stomach was right there on the sidewalk. And me and a truck coming up, we both stopped at the same time. We're both saying the same thing. We both turned on our blinkers, got out, went to talk to the guy, wondering, was he hit? What's going on? He rolls over and starts just yelling incomprehensible stuff. Didn't have any weapons, said anything. And I'm just like, this is just a troubled person. So the truck guy called 911 and said, look, there's a guy here. We want to get him out of the street. I don't see that as the norm. And I would say this person on drugs is probably way out there.
Yeah, the other day,
can they really get back to
I agree with you. The other day, me, Dylan, and Tico were right down the street from the office. And Jen's with us, kids are with us. Homeless guy is there. He says, hey, you got some money? I said, what are you going to do with it? He said, I'm going to go buy food. I said, then I'm not going to give you money. Meet me at Five Guys. So we go to Five Guys, and I get him whatever he wants. We sit down, and I have lunch with him. I'm talking, how'd you end up here? Good-looking guy. I said, look at your eyes. You got, Bradley Cooper eyes. And he starts laughing. He says, well, I messed up. My family will never forgive me. This is the third time they've given a shot. They'll never forgive me again. I said, do you have any kids? No. I said, how do you think your mom and dad are on? Yeah, he was in his mid-40s. So how do you think they feel about you being in here right now? How much pain do you think they're at? When they go to sleep every night, how much pain do you think they got? A lot. how much you think they would like to see you go back to being, yes. How long have you gone without drinking? And he tells me, I've gone 7 days without drinking. I said, great, then here's $20. And I will follow him just to see what he does. You know where he goes? Straight to the bar.
Yep.
He went straight to the bar.
Yeah.
And to those guys, you know, churches do things, charities do things. A lot of people are doing things to help them out. But the ones that can be helped, the investment must be made in people who want to help themselves. To try to help 100%. Veterans, they served for you and I. They gave us protection. We went to sleep feeling safe. We have to take care of our veterans. There's no question there. Psychological PTSD, it's challenging for a lot. And we got to find a way to make that work for some of them. But I think the investment's got to be made in people that are willing to help themselves.
We got a drug problem in this country. We got a fentanyl problem in this country. We got an alcohol problem in this country. We have a mental health problem in this country. You asked us from stats about New York City, right? The article from the Wall Street Journal, which basically what's wrong with blue cities, the blue state homeless boom. Here's some numbers for you, by the way. New York City's right to shelter policy also encourages migrants to take advantage of government-supported housing, including hotels in Manhattan. Most migrants who can't find work and housing eventually move on. But most of the increase in what HUD calls, quote-unquote, chronic homelessness is owed to mental health and drug abuse, which this report failed to mention. If you can believe it, is obvious to anyone who walks past any urban homeless encampment, or for what that matter is, any street in certain neighborhoods in Los Angeles or New York City, progressives ignore such clear social ills and instead call for more spending on low-income housing, but such housing-first policies have failed and demonstrated by the rising number of homelessness in progressive states. Throwing money at it is just not something. How much money did Gavin Newsom accidentally misplace? $26 billion.
$24 billion, right? The Rob's got
there it is. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, 24 gone. So clearly, and Oregon, I think they legalized or decriminalized all drugs during COVID. And then this past year, they're like, yeah, we're good.
Unlimited needles and bleach kits.
We just can't have people. We just can't have drunk alcoholics, drug dealers, people on heroin just walking around in the streets and it being legal.
By the way, you know that $24 billion they gave to California, and California's got 180,000 homeless people?
Yeah.
Do you know if they took that $24 billion and they gave it to each homeless person, they just gave it to them?
Yeah.
You know how much money it would be? $133,000 a piece. Where do you think that money went to? You think it ended up going there?
No, people's pockets.
No,
and it all
Where
comes
did
down.
that money go?
Nobody knows.
Right.
You're never going to know.
Nobody
You're
knows.
missing not 240,000,
No,
not 2.4 million, not 24 million, $24 billion.
And by the way,
Gavin Newsom.
You know, words talk, numbers scream, and I'll take a sip of coffee and I'll give you one parting shot.
Go ahead, because I want to say something.
Tom, what's in the cup?
So, supposed to be Tito's and cranberry, but I guess we're out of cranberry.
That's my guy.
So what you see right now is, I call it the fake statistics of winter. So Chicago, homelessness is dropping in Chicago. Yeah, you want to know why? Has anyone been to Chicago during the winter?
It's freezing.
Do you know where they're going? They are moving out. They are looking for refuge in other smaller cities and coming south. That is a fact of what's going on. But we need to move on. But right now, the stats, lie a lot about it. But I'd love to see HUD stats on chronic homelessness to find out if my guess
I just want more data on this.
Yes, exactly. So do I. So is my guess about 20, 25%
Brandon, if we've
correct?
not done a clip, I think we've done one on homelessness. Maybe put a list that we may do something on this year soon. Go ahead, Ben.
Well, let's put the blame of why this jump of 18%, which is absolutely insane. It comes down to the Biden administration. None of us said it. It's them. It's Alejandro Mayorkas. They're talking about what is the border, drugs, inflation, how much more, dude, gangs taking over apartment complexes and kicking those people on the street, which adds to it.
Which wasn't fake news.
It wasn't fake news, but they tried it. But guys, why is it that America has this much of a problem? These are American citizens. We care about everybody else in the world. You know why? There's no money in helping the homeless. There's no profit to be made. We have wars on drugs. We have war on terror. We have war on everything. You never know. There's no war on homelessness. It's these people that are here, okay? And it drives me insane that there are citizens, like you said, the guys in the street, Tom. I see that shit all the time. They're all struggling. They all need the help. And then you know what people say? Where are you going to build houses? Okay, we want to help the homeless. Where are you going to build them? George Carlin had that great bit where he goes, you know what? Golf courses. We have 2 million, approximately 2 million acres across the United States, 16,000 golf courses. They're like, we don't have anywhere to build them. To help take half of those freaking pointless ass walking around with your funny ass pants and build low freaking housing and put something.
Donald Trump is going to be very upset with you when he hears that.
We have to help. There's no, Pat, if you could figure out, they'll never do it. A business model.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
I got a question for you. So here's a question for you, Vinny.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, what's the most you ever drank?
Me. In a day?
No. This is, when did you get to a point where you felt like, man, I'm in too deep. I don't know how the hell I'm going to get out of that whole other way I drink.
Los Angeles, COVID, no comedy clubs open. Everything was the most depressing, horrible time.
So watch this. Is that the most you ever drank?
Yes.
Okay. So for example, like if I used to go to clubs 6 days a week in LA.
Damn, PBD.
Yeah, the only day I took off was Monday. Every day I was committed. So Tuesdays is the only day I took off. So I used to go to the club 6 days a week. I used to go to Vegas every other week. I was in Vegas. Very loyal, very committed.
You helped build the.
Well, you know what it was?
Nobody likes a quitter.
If you look at this is my interest. The final product is being homeless. What are the previous 7 steps before you got here?
Yeah.
And the reason why this is important is because so many times we try to fix this, and what you don't pay attention to is, why don't we minimize and eliminate more people falling into this? We have to be just as proactive of preventing people to become homeless as we are of addressing the existing homeless people. Do you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you're like, a sales leader talks to a sales team, and you got 5 disgruntled sales guys. And in your mind, all you're thinking about is what? Those 5 disgruntled sales guys. And your mind is consumed with those 5 disgruntled sales guys. You don't think about the other 30 that you have here that are fully committed, that want to improve. You want to make sure they stay ethical before they do something dumb. Mm-hmm. How do we prevent these guys from joining this camp? The more we can go through this process, then you have to find a way to prevent, and then you come for solutions at every category, okay? Whether it is, we don't do enough of selling the nightmare. I think we don't even do enough of a job selling the dream right now. We don't do enough of a job selling the nightmare. What's the nightmare? We don't do enough of a job where I remember how many times if guys were to come out and say how many people I went and picked up from DUI in the middle of the night, I don't know what that number is. It's a massive number. And I did it so many times that I would sit in the car and we're driving, we're talking. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, hey man, can I talk to you? Yes. When's the last time you had a drink? Well, I've been in jail for 12 hours. I haven't had one for 12 hours. So you're sober, yeah. Do you realize what you're about to do to your life? And for 30 minutes, I'm selling the nightmare. Your wife, your kids, your parents, heartbreak, the disappointment when your dad hears about this, the pain in your mom's eyes, 9 months your mother carried you, the challenges they went through, the sacrifices they made, the number of soccer practices they drove you when you're going on these travel teams, the amount of baseball things they did for you, the amount of things they bought for you. When they couldn't afford to buy you a video game on Christmas, they bought it on debt, and he was working 2 different jobs. You realize how much pain you're bringing to these guys. You realize that. You think God put you here to do this right now. And I would go into selling the nightmare of you're about to lose it all if you do this. And when you're in it, sometimes you're so around other people that are also doing this, and then it's done. And I'm like, look, if you go the way you're going right now, your wife's probably going to leave you. You're probably not going to see your kids a lot. You're going to go through challenging times, and the hardest years of your life are ahead of you. Or you can stop the decision now. Let's go to AA meeting together tomorrow. Let's go see some of these guys here. Let's find a partner, a buddy for you that you can go to. And then 6 months from now, 3 months from now, this could be the beginning of the greatest years of your life. The best memories. Walking your daughter down the aisle, spending time with your mom and dad, reminiscing, laughing, telling jokes about the good times, all this other stuff. This could be a very special second half or 2/3 of your life that's coming up. But you have to sell the nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
I think on this cycle, like one time I was with Antoine Walker. I don't know if you remember Antoine Walker.
Of course, the
Boston
basketball player.
Celtics,
He lost
right?
$100 million, I want to
he
say.
lost $120 million. That's how much he got paid. Can you put Antoine Walker total contract?
Oh, I remember him.
Total paying, like career
Celtics, and then he won with the Heat.
career earnings right there, yeah. $108 million. Okay.
Cars,
By the way, it's all
houses,
gone. It is all
jewelry.
gone.
Where is he at?
How this NBA All-Star made and lost $100 million of fortune.
Yeah.
So we're sitting at a cigar lounge in Chicago, and we're sitting there talking. Morgan Stanley. Can you type in Antoine Walker Morgan Stanley? I just type in Antoine Walker Morgan Stanley. I believe it's Morgan Stanley. This was 7 years ago. I may be wrong.
No, you're right.
Okay, Antoine Walker, former NBA All-Star, decides, this was 9 years ago, has worked with Morgan Stanley Global Sports and Entertainment Division since 2015 to educate young athletes about financial risk. He's telling me how he sits with professional players to tell them how they lost all the money. Remember Mark Rippon from Washington Redskins, the Super Bowl champion that beat the Bills?
Yeah. He went to Washington State University, came out.
Yes.
Ripien, R-Y.
Career earnings of him, I think, was $41 million. If you can type in, he was also career earnings, 37 or $41 million, some number like that, I remember. What was it? Anyways, he also made a lot of money.
Didn't he end up selling a Super Bowl ring or something?
He won a Super Bowl. But the point is, man, like Antoine Walker went and sat down with kids that are about to go into the NBA, NFL, and say, don't waste your money. He sold the nightmare that everybody's going to come knocking and wanting to do stuff. It breaks my heart when I see people going through it. It's very painful when you see them going through telling the story. But we got to prevent the next 10 million of getting into the system.
That picture that you wrote with the homeless thing.
Float.
Where's that thing, by the way?
I don't know where it is. I wrote it.
But by the way, I say this all the time. I say, for the average person, you have parents, you have friends, you have classmates, you have family. How do you get to being homeless? Imagine the bad decisions that you make. Like most people, hey man, I'm really struggling right now. Hey bro, you can crash with me. Hey mom, dad. Imagine how many bridges you have to burn and how many poor decisions you have to make for someone to be like, dude, I can't help you anymore. Good luck out there. Everyone wants to say, well, how are we going to help the homelessness? How are we going to help these people? Look at Antoine Walker. You kind of got to help yourself. This is why they call it personal responsibility and self-development and personal finance and personal agency and self-reliance and self-esteem, because it's on you. At the end of the day, if you're the one drinking and getting effed up and doing the DUIs and not listening.
It is.
You're going to be the...
It is, but at the same time, in life, when you read the Kennedy and the Bush's family structure, what they had, they both said, first go make your money, protect your family, then find a way to go into public service, whether it's church, politics, or charity. We can help a lot of these guys not get there. Some of us have to play the example of playing the role before. You see somebody before they're about to screw up. We need to have that conversation with them. Listen, it's so funny. Today is what? December 31st. Guess what's going to happen tonight? Rob, can you pull up the number one day in America for DUIs? Look at this. The number one day in America in DUIs. Number one day in America for DUIs. Okay. What is it? New Year's Day. You know why it's New Year's Day? It's really New Year's Eve.
Exactly.
So you know what by the way, you know what I used to do with the sales organization? For 15 years, you know what I did? People are going to think this is crazy. I had a young sales team. So every January 1st, I had a sales meeting at 8 a.m. You know what would happen? You know how many DUIs we would prevent?
They would show up drunk.
They would show up so pissed off because who the hell puts it? Like, look, not mandatory, but I'm doing it. I'm going to be there. Come there if you're committed for New Year 2025. So if some of you guys are watching it tonight, you're planning on doing something, and you're like, well, I'm going to go out, Pat. What am I going to? Don't take your car. Go Uber. And if you can, limit your amount of drinks. And if you can even go without drinking tonight, for you to make a decision for yourself in 2025. Vinny, you've gone how long almost at this point? 19 months?
As of right now.
I think you're at 18 and a half months.
I am at 1 year, 6 months, and 30 days.
Amazing.
Yeah,
and I'm never going to go back.
It's awesome.
19 months.
Yep.
But if you can go tonight without it, test yourself and do it.
Kudos to Vinny, because he just said 4 years ago he was drinking more than any time in his life.
Yeah.
And now he's not. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the choices you make. We all
your life.
are the product of the decisions that we make.
Agree. I agree.
So if you're going to make poor decisions and do DUIs, I'm sorry, brother.
Yeah. All right.
That's on you.
This is the last chance here for the end of year sale with VTmerch.com. If you haven't yet ordered, we have so many different things with 50% off. The flip-flops right now are $22. The blue future looks bright. There's so many. Obviously, the sizes is the challenge, but if it's got your size, this is your chance to get a bunch of discounts for yourself. And for the first 50 orders, you will get these new Future Looks Bright gold and black keychain that came with Valuetainment logo on it. And on the back, it says Future Looks Bright. First 50 orders, you're going to get these keychains. So go ahead and place your order. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.